did anything emerge from that very short conversation that you're able to say, well, this is what good writing is? It's this kind of fuzzy, hard to define beast, isn't it? And some people will start by saying, well, it's well structured, well, it's short sentences, and they're all very processed things, but any of those things alone will not produce good writing. I can write you short sentences, I can write you plain English, I can write you lack of jargon, any of those things. None of those things by themselves will produce good writing. So here's my thought about what good writing actually is. So I'm going to start at the level of meaning, and my list is actually much longer than I'm going to put on the screen today, but I've got two things I'd like to share with you. The first one at the level of meaning. For me, good writing is writing that's invisible. If I read a document and what I get out of that document is its content, then for me it was well written. If I can read a document and I don't notice anything about its structure, about its sentences, about its headings, that's a good document. And that means that it's a movable feast, because what's good writing for me must vary according to how much I know about the topic, what kind of questions I'm asking about the topic, what my level of interest in the topic actually is. So there's almost this relationship between writer and reader that goes on to create good writing. And that means that a document that's good for me may not necessarily be a document that's good for you. So that's step one. It's writing that we don't notice. Secondly, for me, good workplace writing is writing that has a key message and it's clear and easy to find. And when I'm editing other people's work, this would be the major thing that I do in their work. I read a document and I think, so what are they saying? What's their argument? I've just read about this and this and this and all these different things, but I have no sense of their whole. And so for me, that's the next thing that really matters in good writing. I need to be able to walk away and say in a few sentences what this document is really about. It needs to have a key message, and my readers need to be able to find that key message and know it. And then the third thing that's really important for me at that big level is that good workplace writing knows who is going to read it, and it's written for that reader and from the perspective of that reader. And out of that falls a whole pile of stuff about how you use language and how you structure the document and so on. But really it's about saying, I'm starting from knowing who's going to read this and understanding the complexity and the diversity of those people and saying, I'm going to write for them rather than for me. So I'm writing to help them do their job or help them make decisions or help them answer questions, and not writing so that I can get my point across. And it's like wearing different shoes. Now at the more process level, for me, writing is these kinds of things. A lot of these ideas come from the work of Mark Trudinik, the Australian poet who's written a few books on workplace writing. And if you're looking for some very good background reading about workplace writing, here's a place I'd encourage you to go. He's got a green book, a black book and a red book, and they're all really very good. So he talks about how good workplace writing is concrete and simple. Now for me, concrete is about something that I can sort of feel like I can grab and hold it. It's something that I get, that I understand. It's not like this vague concept that I can't hold on to. And simple to the extent that I can understand it. And for me, one of the guidelines that falls out of that is the more complex my content, the more I need to work on having simple writing. If my content's simple, I can get away with some pretty convoluted writing. If my content's complicated, I cannot. It's got to be really straightforward. Good writing is also conversational and natural, and Trudinik makes this comment that good workplace writing is written as though I'm having a conversation with you, but it's a conversation that's been tidied up. So it's tidied up according to its structure and its sentence patterns and so on, but its tone and level of formality is conversational. I like the idea that good workplace writing is tight and rhythmic, and that's bringing in its sense of poetry, that you can read it aloud and it has this music to it and it's pleasant to the ear, and that it has a rhythm that gets me from the beginning through to the end, and that I can talk about the difference between whether my piece of writing has a bit of a staccato feel to it or whether it sort of flows, and I feel as though I could put on different hats to produce those different outcomes for my different readers. Then we get into the technical stuff, and I'm not going to talk about them much at all, but obviously good writing is going to be appropriate at the level of language, tone, depth and detail, and it's going to be technically perfect, but I have deliberately got that at the bottom because a technically perfect document is not a good document. A good document needs to be technically perfect. And for me, I like to see technical stuff being my grammatical correctness, my typographical errors. If you notice any on the screen, sing out, let me know. I've probably missed some. And just the basic formatting and so on. They're my back door. So they're the last thing I check as a writer. And I really do see them as I feel like I'm withdrawing from the document as I check my technical detail stuff. But for my reader, they're my point of entry. They're a front door. Because if I can't spell the name of my organisation, or I just do some really dumb meaning error right up front, it's the front door. I've lost my credibility. My work is just simply not going to hold it. So technical stuff does matter, but it comes at the bottom.